And all aboard! Valley Life Express is rolling through. I'm Rich Krebs, and I have a person here that I want you to meet as we're sitting here at the Yosemite Mountain Sugar Pine Railroad. Mr. Max Stoffer, how are you?
Good to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to apologize to you right now. Being born and bred native Californian, hiking all over Yosemite, all over the Sierras, I have seen the signs. I had no idea this existed. You have created something special or kept something special running for almost 100 years. Tell me a little bit about the railroad and its history and how you've kept this thing afloat.
Well, we've been here just a little over 40 years with the restoration. We started in the mid-60s, restoring the track, bringing in the equipment, and now we run an hour round trip through the Sierra National Forest for families and kids, big kids and little kids, on the steam trains. The engines are antique steam locomotives from the logging times. The number 10 that's right here was built in 1928. The number 15 that you saw going down the track was built in 1913, so it's almost 100 years old.
So now we're going to have to beg you to have just an amazing centennial celebration when that thing rolls out at 100 years.
You bet, you bet.
I love it. So is there a better or more relaxing way to see the Yosemite Sierra Nevada mountains than rolling through on a steam locomotive?
Oh, I don't think so. It's great, and plus the conductor narrates about the history and the natural history as well, and there is a lot of history in the mountains, and obviously the beautiful scenery at the 5,000-foot level.
Now these things, as we were creating the roads and everything up through here, were brought in then to pull a whole lot of logs back down and then drop them back to the lumber mill so we could build the Central Valley.
Exactly. During the time of the gold rush era, there was a huge demand for lumber, and with that came the logging operations, and there were no roads up here. It was all done by wagon and then eventually by steam locomotive. They hauled logs, so they logged about 30,000 acres up in the area here, hauled the logs down to Sugar Pine where the mill was, milled the logs into lumber, and then flumed them all the way to Madera, which is in the Central Valley, as you know, and that was a 54-mile flume.
All right.
So it's really a lot of cool history there.
Now, if just a random person is planning on coming up and visiting Yosemite, do they need to call early and get a reservation, or can they just pull right in and hit one of your times and jump on the train?
For our daytime trips, just come in a little early to get your tickets. We have a large capacity on the train, so that's no problem. We have a moonlight special that runs every Wednesday and Saturday night. And that we ask for reservations because that involves food and the entertainment and the train ride.
That is great.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that existed. That's got to be a whole lot of fun, yeah.
It's great. And then we also have gold panning here at the station. That we have a person that teaches the kids or the adults how to pan gold, a little history of the gold rush era, and that's a lot of fun. We have a 1856 building that we turned into a museum. That's really cool.
Sure.
And then, of course, food service, and we have gift shops, a real nice bookstore.
Okay.
Lots of things to do.
And good. Hit me with the hours again in case people are planning on just running up here when the trains are running.
Monday through Friday, the steam train runs at 11, 12:30, and 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Saturdays and Sunday, an additional run at 3:30. And then the Moonlight Special is Wednesday and Saturday nights beginning at 6:30.
Nice. Now, your trip through the Sierras, too, is the original grade that was actually cleared for the trains to run, and then you've just upgraded and made sure the track was still feasible.
We relayed all the ties in the rail for 2 miles, making a 4-mile round trip. Used the same methods they used at the turn of the century. Yeah, so it's the original grade that the Madera Sugar Pine ran on.
Okay. Now tell me about any special events. If you've got a corporate group that's coming through, you got some schools, I'm sure that, I've heard you just do amazing things for people like that. Can they call and make those reservations as well and jump on board?
A lot of company picnics and even corporate events, and we do a lot of field trips for kids, a lot of them from the valley in the spring mostly. And so, yeah, just give us a call and we'll set it up for you.
Good. You've laid this place out beautifully, too, with a lot of historical relevance so people can get the information, too, and kind of get the nostalgia of all the railroads and how it works.
Yeah, it's all the original equipment here. It's really cool. Neat stuff.
There can't be many of these running anymore in California.
There's just a few in California now, yeah.
Have a lot of them tried to make it easier on themselves and turned over to the diesel side of things, or maybe even some sort of electric replica or that kind of thing?
Yeah, some. A lot of the tourist railroads are going with diesel now just because of the the difficulty in maintaining steam engines. But we're still running our steam locomotives. It's a real challenge at times, but we keep them going.
Sure. And this isn't just, you're just piping some steam through so you can make the whistle sound loud. It is running the entire gearbox and everything. You've got the firebox down below.
The only difference is the guys are a little younger than than they would be, but that's the only difference. The boilers are the same. The locomotives, as you see them, are the same. Yeah.
Right. We're winding down in time, but give me a little bit of mileage and stuff. When you're coming through Oakhurst, we haven't even got to Yosemite yet, so it's right outside Fresno. It's not very far above Oakhurst.
An hour's drive from the north end of Fresno, 12 miles north of Oakhurst, and Yosemite's only 4 miles away. So we're real close to the park and just a little over an hour's drive from Fresno.
I love it. Well, Max, I sure appreciate your time, and thank you so much for doing what you do to keep this alive for everybody.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Folks, there's a whole lot more Valley Life coming up after this, but if you have not come up here and taken a ride in the Yosemite Mountain Sugar Pine Railroad, you owe yourself. It is going to be a treat. Get up here and make it happen. Next stop, Paradise.